In the news this past week has been about the big fireball out west. So I thought it would be interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes of catching a fireball. I'm a member of the MIAC committee, which is the Meteor Impact Advisory Committee to the Canadian Space Agency. And what we do is actually go out to see if we can find the meteor, right, lads, and do the research. So what you see around is all the hype going on, people running around without their heads on. And well, I'm going to show you what actually goes on. The MIAC committee has been around since 1956, actually. It's only since 1990 that it's been part of the Canadian Space Agency. It used to be part of the National Research Agency. And now it's part of the Canadian Space Agency, so let's go on and see what happens. My topic is catch a shooting star. And this is what a shooting star looks like. And that's the radar sound that it makes. Now when someone sees a shooting star like that, usually there's a big call. On an average night, you'll see about 10 shooting stars. What we're looking for here is what we call a fireball. And you'll usually see maybe about 7 a month overall. On an average day, there are 4 million shooting stars or meteors going through our skies. Okay, so most of them are never noticed. The last big one that was noticed, besides this one, was in 1997, and it was recovered at Tavish Lake meteor in Canada. We have over 70 meteors right now. Actually 72, but I'm not allowed to talk about 2 because they're not out yet. That's a secret. But also, the last big one in Newfoundland was in 1986, and it was sort of just like what you saw here. People were just getting home in the middle of the night, evening, around supper time, so everybody was out and everybody saw it, and that's why it's such a big hit. So, this is the Meteor Impact Advisory Committee, and this is our camera setup. Now, since from 72 to 86, there were cameras all over the prairies, but we ran out of money, and that was all done by film. So there were 17 sites. Each site had 6 cameras, and astronomers used to have to go out every night or every morning, reload the cameras, develop the stuff to see if they could find anything. And all that information is still being processed now. Nowadays, after 86 it was closed down, and nowadays we have electronic cameras, video cameras, and as you can see, we cover a lot of Canada and a few of the United States. And in Newfoundland we actually have 3. 2 are run by me, and 1's run by Jim Gillard up in Twillingate. I'm always looking for more people. I gave this talk, which was 45 minutes, so I've cut it down a lot, out in Alberta the summer, and now I have 3 more in BC. I don't know why BC seems to, I go out out west and get people to do it, but here I can't. So what we do is we just wait for a shooting star to go by, and this is one that's been picked up by my camera, and that's one that wouldn't produce a shooting star. But we get a phone call, and of course, first thing I do when I get a phone call or notice, I have to look at, have to look at 8 hours of tape, and that was a pain, I'll tell you. Now we've got a computer to do it. And then we used to do interviews, and you'd go out and you'd ask questions. First of all, you ask people to tell you the story, because if you ask questions, you lead the person to what you want, and you want exactly what he saw. Because if he finds out that you want sound, he'll call you back and say, oh yeah, I remember hearing sound. Oh yeah, it was green or red. So you listen to his whole story, and then you ask a few more questions. And this is what's going out in BC. And actually, this is, we've got something like 552 witnesses. So actually, I'm talking to people on the phone, helping out because there's not enough people. So there's a brief guide to the links between fireballs. Meteorites have to be slow. If they're faster than 28 kilometers, a meteor won't produce a meteorite. So what a meteorite is, basically, is the remains of a star, or a piece of dust, actually, from usually either from comets or asteroid belt. So they have to be less than 28 miles per hour. Usually if they're brighter than the full moon, they'll produce a meteor. So we tell the brightness of stars by what we call magnitudes. So the full moon is -12, the sun is -25, Venus and Mars, which are, Venus and Jupiter, if you've been out the other night and the next couple of nights looking in the west, the two bright stars, they're -4. One's -4 and one's -2. So just to give you an idea. Meteorites produce fireballs typically in, so what you see is the fireball coming in, you see it turn red, may break up in a whole lot of red pieces, then it goes black, that's called the dark fall. Okay, that usually happens at 25 miles above the horizon. Everybody says it's just just fell in my friend's backyard. But if you see the rocks falling, that means it's at least 25 miles away. And if you hear a sound like thunder, that means it's very close and you're probably in the area of finding a meteorite. So there are a whole lot of other questions, but they're the 4 popular ones. So once you get all that information, you got to do the math, which I used to hate. Because you had to find an observer on one side who saw the meteor go this way, and you had to find the observer on the other side who saw the meteor go that way. And then you had to do the cosine, cosine, but we don't do that anymore, because we've got software to do it first. That software now captures it for us, analyzes it for us, and tells us where the orbit is. First of all, it will find the orbit for you, and these are some of the meteors that have been found and where they are in the orbits around the sun. So information like that is gathered from the meteor, from following the projection of it coming in. People talking about, well, I saw it there and it ended there. And this is an example of one that was caught by our cameras from St. John's. As you can see that it was about, I guess, 80 kilometers away, red marked in the red zone, and it landed in the ocean, so no work was done on it. But this is what our program tells us. We get all this information, we throw it into the computer, and supposedly, once you do that, you go out and you just go pick it up. That's how we did this. Now in real life it's a bit different. On Friday night at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I got an email telling me that they were out looking in the Saskatchewan-Alberta border. I'm not allowed to say because, oh, already, shit.